Let's start this hour in West Africa, where President Bola Tinubu has issued a firm directive to Nigeria's armed forces and security agencies, demanding an immediate and decisive end to insecurity across the country. In his Easter message to Nigerians, the president said the tide is beginning to turn against those fueling violence, attributing this progress to the unwavering courage and commitment of the nation's security personnel. His directive comes amid a surge in violent attacks and the tragic loss of lives in several parts of the country. The president expressed heartfelt sympathy for those affected and acknowledged the pain and fear being endured by many communities. On the economic front, he also addressed the current hardships facing citizens, assuring the public that the government's recovery efforts are beginning to bear fruit, offering a message of hope for stability and growth in the near future. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, has arrived in Jos, the Plateau State capital, on an official visit. He was received at the Yakubu Gowon Airport in Hepang by the General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Felucio Oyinlola, alongside other top security officials in the state. News Central's Chizoba Anyanwe reports that the minister is in Plateau to commiserate with victims of the recent killings in Basa local government area, which claimed several lives and left many others injured. He is currently en route to the affected communities for an on-the-spot assessment of the tragic incident. Welcome back, and apologies there. We continue now. In the wake of renewed violence in Plateau State, the General Officer Commanding 3 Armored Division, Major General Felucio Oyinlola, has called for united action to restore lasting peace. Speaking during an extensive stakeholders engagement, Major General Oyinlola, who also serves as the commander of Operation Safe Haven, urged communities, leaders, and security agencies and residents to work together in addressing the root causes of the crises. The meeting comes on the heels of recent killings in parts of the state, which have raised fresh concerns over security and communal tension. Chizoba Anyanwe here from Plateau State reports.
The look on the faces of these stakeholders gathered here is that of sadness, sorrow, and regrets. According to the GOC 3 Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Felucio Oyinlola, he is here with a heavy heart, calling for an end to this violence.
In the current situation in Plateau State, silence is complicity and inaction is extremely dangerous. When leaders fail to lead decisively against violence, they enable it. When they fail to hold their own accountable, they embolden criminal elements. I must therefore call out on all of us, not out of malice, but out of the solemn obligation to awake our collective consciousness.
He assures that security operatives will stop at nothing in fishing out the perpetrators of the attacks.
We are conducting offensive operations to track and bring the criminal elements responsible for these acts to book. Our troops have been deployed to flashpoints in the states, and we have also enhanced intelligence gathering efforts. We are further reviewing our operational strategies to reflect the evolving dynamics of the security landscape.
Some of these state actors are not just worried at these recurring killings, but rather asking for decisive move to end the acts of violence.
This is a moment that demands wisdom, not weapon. I encourage all stakeholders here to strengthen the non-kinetic interventions through dialogue, what we're doing today, mediation, traditional conflict resolution mechanism, and also inclusion of all, including the minorities in the process, in the peace-building process.
Some of the legislations we have in Nigeria today still remain. These people will continue to do their bad work, and absolutely nothing is going to happen except we fighting each other.
If all these words would be hearkened to and all hands put on deck, then sooner than later, Plateau will know peace again like never before. in Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Uyi.
Now, let's also tell you that the presidency has strongly refuted claims that Vice President Kashim Shettima was denied access to the presidential villa, labeling the report as false, mischievous, and entirely fabricated. In a statement issued by Stanley Nwokocha, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, the allegations circulated by obscure blogs were described as part of a coordinated attempt to create division within the presidency. Nwokocha stressed that there is no rift between President Bola Tinubu and the Vice President, who remains fully focused on his duties and steadfast in his support for the President's shared vision. The presidency also urged Nigerians to disregard such baseless claims and rely only on credible, verified sources for accurate information. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has given a damning verdict of the preparations of the People's Democratic Party ahead of the 2027 general elections. The minister, while replying to a question from News Central Television's Abuja Bureau Chief Amadin Uyi during a State of the Nation media chat in Abuja, says that the current crisis within the PDP has set the party in a backward trajectory, making it unprepared for the next general elections, expected to wrestle power from President Bola Tinubu.
Painted a very bleak picture of the situation in the PDP. Do we say that as of today, the PDP is not ready for the 2027 general election?
They are not ready. It's very obvious. PDP cannot say for sure. And I have said it's not a question of whether you like me. It's not about whether you like. You don't, like I've said this. You don't need to like me. What I'm saying, is it correct? What I'm saying, is it what will help the party? All this struggle, power struggle, cannot help us.
Welcome back. Now let's proceed to stories on the solemn observation of Good Friday. Across Nigeria, Christians joined millions around the world in commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, a central moment in the Christian faith. In Lagos, worshippers at St. Anthony's Catholic Church in Surulere reflected on Christ's final hours through a moving passion play. News Central's lead correspondent Bernard Akede witnessed the emotional procession and brings us the story.
The Passion Play, a dramatic retelling of the suffering, crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ, remains a central part of Good Friday observances for Catholics worldwide. Here at St. Anthony's Catholic Church in Surulere, Lagos, parishioners say the annual reenactment is more than just a tradition. It is a spiritual journey, one that invites deep personal reflection.
In this season of Lent, it's another call to us, everybody, both leaders and followers, to check ourselves. How much have I contributed to the troubles in this country? You know, it's not only those who are up there. Yes, a lot of them have the bulk of the fault. Those of us followers who also have our own faults. So in what way have I contributed to the troubles of this country?
As the play moved from the sentencing to the crucifixion scene, many in the crowd were visibly moved. For the actors too, embodying the role came with its own lessons.
I feel like for me personally, it's a time for me to reflect, because Passion of Christ is a day whereby you have to feel sorrow, like you have to feel that sorrow in you. Because the time Jesus died for us, so it's not a time to laugh, it's not a time to smile, it's a time to mourn and be prayerful as well. That's what it means to me.
It's a call to remembrance, and it sort of brings me back to that knowledge that, okay, it is a time to sober up, basically. It's a time to reflect on myself. It's a time to change certain things about myself. That's why Lent gives us the 40 days. You know, psychologically, they tell you when you practice something for 21 days, it becomes part of you. So Lent gives you the extra, another 21 days, maybe, something like that, to you know, get used to that new habit you're trying to form.
Though Good Friday carries a somber tone, it is also a prelude to hope, the resurrection that comes with Easter Sunday.
I would say I'm excited that the Lenten season is almost coming to an end, but it also reminds me of the journey that Christ took. And it makes me reflect on some of the things that I do without, you know, thinking. right? And it makes me want to be more conscious of some of the things that I've been doing that are wrong. And I would like to say that it's made me a little more grounded, you know, and I'm more, like I said, conscious of so many things that I take for granted.
From the solemn streets of Lagos to the sacred ground of St. Anthony's Church, the reenactment of Christ's final hours serves not just as a religious ritual, but a mirror, inviting Nigerians to reflect, repent, and renew. As Lenten season draws to a close, the message here is clear. Faith must inspire action. In Lagos for News Central, Bernard Akide.
A very familiar-looking Pontius Pilate there, I dare say. The Good Friday, a central event in Christian belief, commemorates the crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ, and many Christians in Delta State attended special services, including dramatizations of Jesus' crucifixion, procession works, and also theatrical performances depicting the Passion of Christ. Our News Central's correspondent in Delta State, Austin Azu, examines its significance and moral lessons for the leaders. And here's that package.
Good Friday re-announced Jesus Christ's betrayal, arrest, trial, sentence, crucifixion, and burial. Christian faithful across the world, including Delta States, mark the day with special church services, including dramatizations of Jesus' crucifixion, procession walks, and theatrical performances depicting the Passion of Christ.
The Passion of Jesus is being demonstrated here by St. John Bosco's Catholic Church in Asaba, the suffering of Jesus to Golgotha.
The Bishop, Diocese of Asaba Anglican Communion, Right Reverend Kisley Obu, speaks on the significance of Good Friday.
He was sinless, but he had to take our place, suffered the suffering meant for us, died the death that was to be for our own, and by his death, he has set us free from the consequences of sin. By the blood he shed on a day like this, he secured eternal forgiveness for as many as will believe that he actually died for them.
Other faithful also speak on the moral lessons that Nigerian leaders should learn from the Good Friday.
We should die to our sins and then resurrect to become new people.
So for us Nigerians, I urge us all to try to live a good life, at least to the glorification of Christ.
We should learn forgiveness. We should learn to put all we can to make things okay wherever we are. We should be humble. Leaders should also imbibe this character of humility and serve.
We should learn how to emulate the humility our Christ showed us. Because if not the humility, I don't think we will gather here today.
Behind me is a reenactment of Jesus on the cross alongside with two accused thieves. And this is the peak of Jesus' crucifixion on the cross, and thereafter his burial. Christians now look forward towards his resurrection, which is Easter Sunday. In Asaba for News Central, Austin Azu.
Yet Christians around the world marked Good Friday with solemn ceremonies to commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. In Umuahia, the Abia state capital in southeast Nigeria, Catholic faithfuls gathered at the Marian shrine of the Mater Dei Cathedral to observe the Stations of the Cross, an important ritual reflecting on the final hours of Christ. Now, the observance continued with the Passion Mass, a key part of the Holy Week tradition. News Central's Chinwe Ogele this time was at the cathedral and brings us more on how the faithful honored the sacred day.
It is the last station of the cross for the season and also marks the end of the Lenten season. The exercise captures the various stages of pain and torture that Jesus Christ went through before his crucifixion on the cross. Because it is the day that Jesus was betrayed by one of his disciples and denied by another, Christians are admonished to live right in order not to extend the betrayal and pains he passed through.
A Christian can as well deny Jesus by living a wayward life, by living a sinful life.
Some Christians say they have emulated the life of Christ by not bearing grudges against those who betrayed them.
Now that I'm getting older, when somebody betrays me, I try to find out the cause, why. And if he can just apologize, simply says he's sorry and will not do it again, I'll forgive him.
I don't count it as anything because I see that they don't know what they're doing. So I don't take it serious. I pray that they repent and change.
They also recognize the importance of Good Friday.
We are now in the Triduum period, which is those 3 very vital days that brought about Christianity. Saw the suffering of Christ, saw his death, saw his burial, saw his rising from the cross. And in my own life as a Christian, today, Good Friday, gives me the urge and courage to continue being a stronger and stronger and stronger Christian.
It's a special day because it's the day he gave all that I may live. He could have called 10,000 angels to set him free, but because of his love for mankind, he died alone that we may live.
The priest also explains the importance of the day, without which there would not have been resurrection or salvation.
So every Christian will partake and benefit from today's celebration by participating actively, reflecting over his or her life, and by opening his or her heart to accept Jesus as his Lord and personal Savior.
Today, the church forbids consumption of meat and preaches forgiveness of wrongdoings, even as it mourns the crucifixion of the one who founded it. In Omahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugeli.
Now, in a major move to drive economic growth, the Kogi state government has secured a landmark investment deal with China's Hunan province, focusing on agriculture, mining, and industrialization. The agreement was signed during a high-level investment mission to China led by Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. The deal is set to position Kogi as a leading destination for foreign investment in Nigeria. Speaking in Lokoja, Commissioner for Information Kingsley Fanwo described the trip as a masterstroke, noting that the key feature of the partnership is the development of an industrial park in Ajaokuta, which will serve as a special economic zone. Hunan Province, China's top rice-producing region and a global steel hub, shares several economic similarities with Kogi, including rich natural resources. The state government says the partnership marks the beginning of a new era, one that will open Kogi to global markets and transform its economic landscape. As the Borno state government rolls out major water intervention projects across Maiduguri, residents of Zanari community are appealing not to be left behind. The area has been grappling with severe water shortages following the collapse of the Alua Dam, a key resource or rather source of water for the region. Community leaders say they fear their pressing needs may be overlooked in specific attention if specific attention isn't given to Zarani in the state's restoration plans. Now, News Central's Umaru Kirawa has been tracking the story and now brings us the report from Maiduguri.
A dream come true and happy day for the residents of Lamisula, Mafoni, among other selected areas within Maiduguri metropolis in Nigeria's Borno state. It used to be a daily struggle for them to access water, leading to children missing schools, among other concerns.
Wancan azumin mun sha wahalar ruwa sosai, amma tsabar ruwa yana zuwa daga kaman Bulaburin, London, area Gwangefo da ake ba su da ruwa har suna zuwa suna iba.
Ngura ne wahalan je yayin dai. Kan abun je fanne na. Sai da shiro askare na. Ala shiro naftini da wayaci. Ala kasa ne naftini da wayaci. Ngura gwamnati askare na.
This has been a development that News Central has been following, a cause for the rehabilitation and improved access to water supply that was hitherto destroyed by flood.
Because of the zeal and determination of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, he instructed Borno State Ruwasa to convert 48 boreholes, fuel-powered boreholes, into hybrid, and this is one of them. As you are seeing this borehole, it has a pump that has the installed capacity of 50 horsepower, and about 120,000 people are benefiting from this intervention. And it is one of the reasons why you didn't hear much cries from this area.
Local leaders of Zannari community at London Chiki are urging the government to prioritize the restoration of water supply to their community to alleviate the hardship faced by the residents.
Muna bukatar ruwa sosai a cikin anguwanmu na Zannari kanti goma. Muna bukatar ruwa, mai girma gwamna, godiya muke yi. Mun san kana yi kuma kai mai yi ne, shi yasa muke godiya, muke mika sako zuwa gare ka, kuma muke roko, muke kokon bara.
Jollo fal indiyar nguron be trinaro warswatin kamaso kongaso sama kalaro sabkata gejolno trinaro warswatin de suka jiri rig jiri sola yari falla indiyar nguron muradin yana fandina zo fandiyar muradin yana kalambi de nje be baranzu gwamna Borno
a hun naftu kuya kozna ala shirocho ala kamande a wada horo kenan so ala kanasaro andiya sak njinde andiya banasa mashiti andiya banajin ma da kuru kwaya wanda ya kunda kudai awala sandana sidin so kuma monti gina da isor ande tsoro shura askar yana ala darajan zasara.
They are calling on both the state and federal governments to expedite efforts to ensure that communities like theirs are not left behind in the recovery process. In Zannari for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
A 2025 report says trust in Nigeria's institutions, businesses, government, media, and NGOs has increased to a trust index score of 65, up 4 points from last year. The report calls on these institutions to work together to address the root causes of grievance and enable trust, growth, and prosperity. In an era of skepticism, this growth is a testament to the resilience of institutions. But experts warn that this is not the time for complacency.
In 2024, Idelma Nigeria Trust Barometer ranked Nigerians as second among countries in the world where innovation is well managed. The outcome of the survey, involving 28 countries, was released in the wake of a global debate on the role of innovation in society. Nigeria was at par with Kenya in the survey that also featured respondents from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. The findings also revealed that the vast majority of Nigerians believed scientists, experts, and academics should play a crucial role in managing the introduction of innovation.
The Nigerian report has looked at businesses, media, government, and of course NGOs. And you can see what has happened. I'm happy that we have had an improvement on trust level in Nigeria. Last year it was 61%. This year it's 65%, so which indicates some improvement, isn't it?
The Trust Barometer reviews urgent global and local shifts from rising political polarization to a growing expectation for businesses to lead on societal issues.
And there's a couple of ways to really do that. One is for greater collaboration between government, business, NGOs, and media. And the second thing is to really get our leaders to act, and to act in a way that addresses socioeconomic challenges.
In Nigeria, trust in business and non-profits is at an all-time high. But what does that mean for leaders, brands, and institutions navigating today's environment of reform and uncertainty?
In Africa, we measure the trust barometer in 3 countries: South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria. And usually they rank high in the global situation. Where the challenge is that there are, I think, business and NGOs have a really strong lead over the rest of the other institutions.
The finding also said the government is the least trusted institution to tell the truth about innovation, with 73% of Nigerians saying leaders in government are purposely trying to mislead people by saying things they know are false or gross exaggerations.
Our road signs are critical to ensuring safety and order on our roads, guiding drivers on speed limits, directions, and potential hazards. But in Nigeria, how well do drivers understand these signs? And more importantly, how much compliance do we actually have on our roads? Our correspondent, Oluwakemi Alimi, takes a closer look at the challenges of road signage in Nigeria.
Across major cities in Nigeria, including Lagos, road signs are meant to serve as a universal language for drivers. But the reality on our roads tells a different story. How well do Nigerian drivers, both private and commercial, understand these crucial road markers?
This road sign, it enables drivers, it cautions the drivers, it provides safety for them on the road, it gives a very clear direction, and it even prevents hazards on the road as well.
We have three types of signs. We have the warning sign. Warning sign is usually like this. It has the yellow background and the red border. Underneath, we also have two types. We have the prohibitory and the mandatory. The mandatory is telling you that for you to apply this rule, you have to obey this. That's you have to do this. And then the prohibitory will tell you that this, do not do this.
No left turn, no right turn, no overtaking, no turn gas. Okay, no cell phone. Cell phone is prohibited. Max speed 100%.
The traffic lights, the green, the amber, and the red.
No left turn, no right turn, no U-turn, no overtaking zone, pedestrian crossing, no horning, no tricycle. That 100 max speed 100 kilometers. This is for truck heights that are way too high. No smoking, no calling, no cycling, no car zone, push carts position. Can't remember what this load lift is again. Then turn left, turn right, pass ethics, keep left, keep right. Then yeah, that's a few I know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
No U-turn, bumps ahead, school children crossing.
But beyond compliance, a bigger issue is the state of road signs in Nigeria. Many road signs are either inadequate, faded, or completely missing. Some are placed too low to be visible, while others are damaged or defaced. And in some cases, there are no signs at all. Yet, drivers are still apprehended for violating traffic laws.
The challenge is that many of those traffic lights are not working. Nobody to even control. The last one will not be there. They'll be sitting down, expect that the traffic light is working, which traffic light is not working. When the drivers are wait, they see the system is not working, they try to apply the road. When the law enforcement come, they will come to arrest you. They don't want to hear your explanation, what really happened.
Recently, so they hold some of our vehicles and take to Alausa. Some have to build the vehicle 70,000 upward. They say that it's one way. But actually the road is one way then. But they have removed the signboard a while ago. So everybody has accepted that, okay, this road is not one way again. Why? That's why we are using it. But if they turn it to a one way, they're supposed to replace it back. Then we will know that this is one way. We should not pass there.
The few challenges I observed while driving is, in the sense of road signs, you don't usually see signs where they are meant to be. So you could actually do a U-turn in a place where you're not meant to do a U-turn, and the police will just pop out from nowhere and just hold you.
There was a sign there before that shows no U-turn, but the sign is no more there.
The Lagos State government is not resting on its laurels, particularly the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, who is the custodian of most of these road furnitures in Lagos. Once they found out that a particular road sign in a very location has been faded off or is about fading off, automatically they have it replaced. And I must tell you this time around, the Lagos State government through LASMA has made apprehension or enforcement so transparent with the use of traffic management solution devices now. Because once you are caught with that camera, it's an handy thing just like a phone you are holding. Once you are caught with that camera, within about 10-20 minutes, you receive a notification on your phone that you have committed a traffic offense, and it will come up with a video. And if you try to play that video, you will see your vehicle with the registration number, the time, the areas, and the location, the day at which you had committed this traffic offense.
So who is responsible for ensuring that road signs are well placed and visible? And what is being done to improve the situation?
We have taken the education away from
just drivers. It has now cut across to the passengers too. So we're telling them, speak up against reckless driving and drivers so that we can hear you and then combat them the more.
As Nigeria grapples with the growing concerns around road safety, the condition and clarity of road signs remain a critical piece of the puzzle. Without consistent maintenance, proper placement, and widespread public education, these vital tools lose their purpose. Maintaining and understanding road signs should be a collective responsibility and not just about avoiding fines. It's about saving lives. In Lagos, for News Central, Oluwakemi Alimi.
Welcome back. Now in Mali, banks and petrol stations have reopened after union workers suspended a nationwide strike on Friday. The decision came after the National Union of Banks and Related Sectors, known as SINABEF, reached an agreement with the military-led government. The strike, which began on Thursday, was called to demand the release of 3 detained union members and improved working conditions. Mali has been under military rule since coup in 2020 and 2021 and continues to grapple with deep-rooted security and economic challenges. A joint statement from SINABEF and Prime Minister's office announced the suspension of the strike following direct talks with the government's delegation led by Prime Minister Abdoulaye Maiga. In Tunisia, a court has handed down lengthy prison sentences ranging from 13 to 66 years to several individuals, including high-profile opposition figures, over national security-related offenses. Local media reports say the defendants were convicted of conspiring against state security and being members of a terrorist organization. An official from Tunisia's Anti-Terrorism Prosecutor's Office confirmed that those sentenced include prominent politicians, lawyers, and business people. The ruling represents one of the most significant crackdowns on opposition voices in recent years. More reactions are expected in the incoming days as the development raises fresh concerns over political freedoms in the country. And South African women who have accused Nigerian Pastor Timothy Omotosho of repeatedly raping them have expressed profound disappointment following 8 years of protracted legal battles. Omotosho, a pastor associated with the Jesus Dominion International Church, was recently acquitted of all charges despite the testimonies of numerous victims, predominantly young women, who came forward to share their harrowing experiences. While these survivors grapple with the outcome, they also feel a sense of pride for their resilience in confronting the pervasive issues of gender-based violence in South Africa. Despite the legal setbacks, they say they remain committed to raising awareness and advocating for change in the fight against such heinous acts. News Central's Bongani Sisiba here has more.
Acquitted, a word that sank so deep into the years of trauma for victims who believed justice would prevail. This is the harrowing journey of women who found not solace but pain in the hands of those they trusted most, men of God. For 8 long years, they say they have carried this burden, shattered trust in the spirit.
We are sitting here today as survivors, once victimized but no longer defined by what happened to us. We once broke the silence and we will not stop using our voices. We have different emotions about the verdict. We are disappointed, we are upset, but we are not dismayed. We know whatever the outcome was, we spoke our truth and we will continue standing by it.
Pastor Timothy Omotosho, during his days at the Jesus Dominion International Church, captivated thousands to his following. But behind the pulpit, allegations surfaced: rape, human trafficking, and manipulation, among others.
The main thing that was being glorified in that church was him and not God. So I think that was also a major red flag. If we mentioned God, it had to be God of him, so it wasn't just God. So I think the major red flag was just the man being made bigger than God himself.
These victims have once again raised questions about a system meant to protect them. They say they have been receiving death threats since the acquittal of the Nigerian pastor Timothy Omotosho.
Some of us have received threats. Some of us have been, because they've been having their own digging about our lives, personal lives, or anything that could actually embarrass us. We've been backlashed and we've been bashed at.
Across the nation, voices continue rising for justice, demanding accountability for a broken system that allowed a Nigerian pastor to walk free, while the victims remained shackled by their trauma. For these women and countless others, the name Timothy Omotoso is comparable with betrayal. They say the man they often saw as a shepherd to them is now a wolf.
Had he still been out there, the numbers would have increased crazily, because he has this obsession, and he's just not a person to be within the country or anywhere. He shouldn't be out there, but it's unfortunate that under the circumstances he is out there. But we do not regret speaking. We do not regret sharing our truth. We will continue.
However, they say the road to recovery is deep, but they refuse to be silenced. They are asking for systematic change. Their pleas echo through the corridors of power. They say they may have been let down, but they will not stand by. They will fight until they see Pastor Timothy Omotoso back in prison. In Johannesburg for News Central, Bongani Siziba.
Now, Colombia has declared a public health emergency following a yellow fever outbreak that has claimed 34 lives. In a swift response, vaccination centers have been established at Bogota's Salitre bus terminal and El Dorado International Airport. Authorities are urging both residents and travelers to get vaccinated as part of urgent efforts to contain the deadly mosquito-borne disease. Health officials say the emergency measures are critical to preventing further spread, particularly in high-traffic areas. The Ministry of Health is working closely with local agencies to scale up immunization and raise public awareness. The government is calling for calm, while underscoring the importance of early prevention and timely medical intervention.
El noticiero nos está mostrando que hay mucho fallecimiento a raíz de la fiebre amarilla que está dando. Esto me impulsó a venir porque pues me gusta viajar y voy para tierra caliente.
Porque yo me di cuenta cuando salí de Armenia de que había que vacunarse por la cuestión de la fiebre amarilla. Yo estoy vacunado contra todo, pero esa no la tenía. Entonces ya regresando a Armenia...
nos está preveniendo de que las cosas se pueden agravar, y con esta es la única forma de atajar la enfermedad que puede surgir, ¿no? Esa es la única manera en que el gobierno comunique que debemos acatar las cuestiones médicas lo más pronto posible, pues para que no haya problema más adelante, y sobre todo muerte, que es lo más grave en este momento, ya que se están dando
ese contagio. Pues la gente ya está cogiendo como conciencia, diciendo, bueno, si no nos vacunamos vamos a salir, nos vamos a contagiar. Es más que todo por eso, pero no por el decreto. Esto está desde noviembre del año pasado, o sea, no es ahorita.
La razón por la cual Bogotá vacuna y lo hace intensamente contra la fiebre amarilla es porque de esta manera protegemos a los residentes de Bogotá, pero también a personas de tránsito de todo el país, migrantes internacionales, desplazados, personas viajeras. Es porque de esta manera protegemos sobre todo a aquellas personas que pueden adquirir la infección cuando viajen a áreas endémicas y constituyen casos importados en Bogotá.
In Yemen, survivors of the deadly U.S. airstrike on the Ras Isla field port say the victims were unarmed workers, employees simply carrying out their duties. Houthi rebel officials claim that at least 80 people were killed in Thursday's strike, the deadliest incident in the United States' 15-month military campaign against the Iran-backed group. The U.S. military says the strike aimed to disrupt critical supplies and funding to the Houthis, who control large parts of Yemen, one of the poorest nations on the Arabian Peninsula. The incident has reignited international concern over civilian casualties and the mounting humanitarian toll of the ongoing conflict. Côte d'Ivoire clinched their third place at the 2023 CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations after a 5-2 penalty shootout win over Burkina Faso in Casablanca. The young Elephants showed composure in the shootout, converting all their spot kicks after a 1-1 draw in regulation time. Burkina Faso had taken the lead in the 28th minute through Holido Diakite, dominating much of the first half. Côte d'Ivoire responded late, equalizing in the 84th minute via substitute Aliho Haidara. Burkina Faso were reduced to 10 men in the final moments, forcing penalties. Misses from Mikel Koulibaly and Komi Ouattara handed the bronze to Côte d'Ivoire, capping a resilient performance and a promising end to their tournament campaign. And the Nigeria Women's Football League has fined Hotland Queens 1 million naira for the assault on match officials during their 1-1 draw with Remo Stars. Ladies on the 16th of April at Dan Ayam Stadium. Following investigations and reports from match officials, the league confirmed the involvement of individuals linked to the Owerri-based club in the incident. NWFL stressed the need for clubs to uphold fair play and warned Hotland Queens that future misconduct could lead to a 1-year ban on the venue. This marks the first disciplinary action by the NWFL this season under its safety regulations aimed at maintaining integrity and order across league fixtures. And world record holder Ruth Chepngetich and defending champion Perez Jepchirchir have withdrawn from the upcoming London Marathon. The race organizers confirmed. Now, Chepngetich, who became the first woman to run under 2:10 at the Chicago Marathon last year, cited physical and mental unpreparedness for her decision to pull out the 27th of April race. Now, the reigning Olympic marathon champion is nursing an ankle injury. Both athletes expressed hope for returning in future editions. In response, 2018 champion Vivienne Curiot has been added to the elite field. Despite the high-profile withdrawals, this year's edition is expected to set a world record for participation, with over 56,000 runners registered to compete in the iconic event. And that's all this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories brought your way. President Tinubu pledges swift action on security, offers hope on the economy. And presidency says Vice President Shettima not barred from Villa, debunks claims of rift with President Tinubu. We also told you that Tunisian court has jailed opposition figures for up to 66 years over security charges. Now, do remember that you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.